Thank you for your love to us. Thank you for your gift of salvation. Be with Tim now as he comes to bring this message and prepare our hearts to listen. In Jesus' name, amen. Kids, you can stay in for Kids Zone this time. You can stay in church with us.
So up is the next slide or down? Down. Okay, good. Okay, good. So this morning I was going to share a little bit of our trip to Guatemala this year and just talk about that a little bit before I bring the message. The messages that God lays on my heart are just things that I've read, and I'll take screenshots of them and put them in my favorite pictures, and then just start scrolling through them and just really see what God has me to speak on and just to share with you all this morning. But it is a lot about that love has no borders, and it's not just about the border between Guatemala and the United States, because there are several between those. You know, it is the border between Jesus and Satan, and there's a massive border there, and that we have to cross it to reach the unlost. And a lot of that I'll share about my message. But today, this is a picture of the feeding center, and this is where it all started at Grace Ministries, was this building right here. And every student, they have 170 students there, from kindergarten to the seniors, and they feed every one of them every morning. And this morning we had the privilege of feeding them. This is what they eat. They eat eggs and beans and some sort of meat and guacamole. I mean, how good does it get just to have guacamole every morning of your lives? And so it is a special treat. We got to get over there and talk to those children. And these the smaller ones have 3 questions they want. They want to know, what's your name, how old are you, and what's your favorite color? And they know how to understand what I'm saying back, and they can answer those questions. So it's kind of cool just to see a little bitty one already learning the English language and being, you know, and that's the whole concept behind their school. It's called JET, and it's Jesus and education equals a transformation, and that's the whole mindset of their school, is just to change the way Guatemalans think. So if a lot of you don't know how they think, is 80, maybe even 90% of Guatemalans, they have kids, and about the 6th grade they take them out of school and they become farmers, and that's their lives. And so they're trying to kind of change. Maybe it is the up way. It is the up way, the top one. So our first morning we came out and we were greeted. We were in our van right here, and we were greeted with this parade. I said, man, that's awesome. They're going to parade just for us. But no, it was the elementary school, which is all the way down here at the end of the street. And they were coming down, and it was just really awesome. Each grade had different banners. And see, this one has bumblebees as their mascot, and it was just really cool to see them roll along. Maybe it is the other way. Maybe I hit the wrong one. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, let's go. There, here we go. Well, maybe not. There we go. Well, maybe it is down, G. All right, we'll stay right here for right now. All right, this is Jackson. This is Jackson Proctor. He's going to speak for us in just a minute. But this is his first Guatemalan house that we built together, and he was exceptionally proud of it, because we had to make a few minor altercations in our build that day, because they gave us a short piece of tin, so I had to get one from my brother, built a house right over on the other side. I had to get one of his pieces just to make this front wall. See, this has 3 little pieces, and it's generally 1 piece. So I had to even think a little bit on this one. But the main reason, besides Jackson, I wanted to show y'all see this right here in the big picture? It is corn stalks. Well, that's somebody else's house. That's what they live in, that they bind these, they weave them in, they make their own twine, and that's what they make their houses out of this. And if they're really, really, really fortunate, they find a piece of plastic that they can put on the roof. But that's what they live in. Might be easier just to go this route. There, Jackson just going at it. So it was a blessing to have him with me. This is Maria right here. She is doing crafts. As y'all can see, they were making beads, and we sent a whole lot of beads. And one little boy come up, and he had that many beads on his arm. Connie was leading crafts that day, so it was a fun time with crafts that day. I don't really know that this is working. Maybe I have to turn it. It is on. We'll just go this route. So this is Felipe right here. He built 2 houses with us. And like I said, Jackson came with me and was his first trip to Guatemala. You know, and Jackson's been called a lot of things. He's been called my son, my grandson, but in reality, he's my great nephew. And I'm very, very proud of him, and he's going to tell you a little bit of his experience in Guatemala.
Hi, my name is Jackson Proctor, and if you didn't listen to him, I'm Mr. Tim's great nephew. Keyword is great, so make sure he never forgets that. Anyways, I'd like to talk about the Guatemala mission trip and what it meant to me. So I want to start off with a verse that says in the Bible, which is Mark 10:45. For even as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to seek and to give his life as a ransom for many. And so I think that verse right there just tells everybody that we are called to serve just because of God's example for us, that he served for us. And if the God that we all worship, if the God that we worship has the humility to serve us and be there for us, I think, and he's the perfect example for us, we need to go out there and do things too. Not just in Guatemala, but and just many different things. But before the trip, I did not feel like going to Guatemala at all, I'm not going to lie. I was about to have tryouts for golf, and school was about to happen, and I was just in a place where I didn't really feel like I was close enough with God. But you don't have to be in a good headspace for God to still use you, is what I learned. But when I got there, I learned how much blessings I had just in my life that I had overlooked. I looked at people that lived in dirt, that would sleep on the dirt while I would have a bed. They would have plastic over as their roof just to keep them from having rain on them. And most of the little kids only had one toy for 3 kids to share. While when I was a kid, I grew up with just a whole toy box that I would throw away after, a couple toys I would throw away after a couple weeks. And, that shocked me a lot. It just showed me how much we're blessed and everything like that. And, one time I was upset one night about a lot of stuff, especially about the sport I was about to play. And Uncle Tim said, Jackson, golf and everything that you do that is fun and stuff like that, that is momentary. What you're doing now matters for a lifetime and for eternity. And so that made me question a lot of things that I really proud towards in my life. And, it just, what's the real meaning of life? And I did get to help people in Guatemala, but more than that, the trip changed my perspective in life. I think I realized what truly mattered. For just people that had less than I did, I think they had a better understanding of what really mattered in life than what I had, or what I understood. And I was also able to experience God when I had shut him off. Because I didn't think I had shut God off, but through slowly the devil will do little things to make you quietly shut off from God without you even realizing it. And another verse that I have this is what Solomon, the wisest person, wrote in Ecclesiastes. He might live 1,000 years twice over, but still not find contentment. Here now is my final conclusion. Fear God and obey his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. All in all, I learned about the blessings of life, the calling of serving, and the meaning of our lives in one single trip. Thank you.
We are very, very, very proud of Jackson and all of his endeavors. Jackson and I started playing golf we started hitting gumballs out in the front yard together, and I never knew how much our relationship would grow through hitting gumballs. But we are very proud. I probably shall let him speak last. But anyway, I thought I had it figured out. There we go. So this is Santos and Rosanda, and they have 3 little ones, one of them was running around. He wouldn't cooperate for the picture. And they're farmers, and you know what the amazing part about Felipe and Santos and all the other farmers there is that they make $500 Qs a month. And what does that interpret to us? That's $20 a month. That this is their salary. That's what they live on, and you just try to interpret that in the United States, and that is crazy that they can live on that much money. But this is their lifestyle, so you can really, really understand how much this house means to them when you're making $20 a month. Maybe don't have that figured out. We'll go the easy route. And this is Connie, my sister-in-law. She's been with us for the last 3 or 4 years. And this is Maria, and she has a little boy named Minor, and he's about this tall. I have no idea how old he was. But she was just a really cool. Her husband had passed away about 5 years earlier. But, that was her desires. I got a video of her later on in the presentation. But this is just what you get to see in Guatemala. Sometimes when you start building a house and you just start looking around and you're just in awe of what God's creation is around you. And this lady that I built this house for, and she was wanting her house built facing this way, but what y'all don't understand, this fence right here is about this house, and she wanted the front of her house right into that. And so I tried to get our interpreter. I said, man, just do whatever you can do to get her to turn her house around, because it would have been right, because usually their old house will become their kitchen, and they'll move all their belongings into so she had her stove in there, and he was, just going at it. And he said, man, she ain't wanting to go that route. I go, well, let me try. And I was just showing her how she could walk into this door. And finally she says, okay. He goes, man, I don't know what you said to that lady, but she's real willing to build it the way you wanted to build it. I said, well, I'm sure she didn't understand nothing. So that I said to you, so that's even more how love can break down the barriers in other people's lives without even knowing their language. Now this little fella is the happiest guy in the neighborhood. Y'all can't even imagine what that soccer ball means to that little fella, because generally we find little ones, and we had already gave all the little ones, and all we had left was the full-size one. And he was just sitting there on the side of the street just looking at us, and he knew we had him, but he wasn't going to say anything. So I pitched one over to him. Woo, man, that smile came across his face, and it's just all worth it. What is a soccer? I buy soccer balls by a bunch of 20, 25 at a time, and they're $5 a piece. The smile worth $5. Yeah, I think so. And then we actually get to play soccer with them, so that's always fun. I don't have a picture of you crawling on the roof, though. Sorry. But this is one of the things that you get to enjoy as the children. And, usually you don't have very, very many, but, about 1 o'clock, the kids get out of school, and they're just everywhere then. So what Connie is putting those little press-on tattoos on the kids. Oh, man, she was just the hit of the party. She had them lined up, ready to get their tattoo. So it was fun. So in this picture, every year that I've ever been, we do this food distribution, and what you're doing is you're giving food for people to live on for a month. So it's like flour and rice and oil and butter and things like that they can, Jackson's giving away some butter there, and they come back with their grocery sacks, and we just fill them up full, and it is enough money. So what is crazy about that is we get there probably 10 minutes early. Well, the people standing in line have probably been there for 2 hours waiting, because they've got this little number, and that's their number for their ticket. So a lot of y'all probably know a lot of these people. These people have been involved, and our church has been involved in their lives since 2016. This is Peter right over here, and his wife, Amalia, and his kids, O'Shell and Odalis. Odalis has the same birthday as I do, so we have a little bit special bond. But we built them a house in 2016. So over the years, Pedro and I have been emailing back, and now we've just finally got into the messenger world so we can do instant messages. So it is a great thing just to be able to see them. We always have them up to the mission house and have dinner with us. And since we've come up with Google Translate, it's even a greater thing because we can actually talk to them. Jackson had a great conversation with O'Shell and Odalis, talking about whatever they talk about. So this is Pastor Max, their pastor, and everybody knows him. This is his wife, Maria, and this is his son, Max, as well. And this is his sister. She helps lead the worship there at the church. So it is a great thing to be able to see them and just to love on them and just share our common bond with them of Jesus Christ. And then there's always shopping involved. On our day off, we go up, and it is a great shopping adventure. There's a picture with me and Jack. This is the most photographed place in all the world. I think, it's just the volcanoes change every time that I go there. This is a picture in Antigua of the volcano there that is dormant, thankfully, for all the people there. And there's half of our group that went, and this, every now and then you get to see a volcano that is active, which we saw a bunch of them this time. We probably saw 10 eruptions while we were there. So that's a fun thing. This is on top. We got a tour of one of the big giant churches there, and this tour also let us go up on top of it. And this is all the city of Antigua right up under it. That was a treat that I've never done before, that's pretty rare. These two ladies right here work at the dump, the dump is not the worst job there is to have. And if you look at very, very close, Connie has got a bag full of bracelets, and guess where those bracelets came from? The ladies at Claire's house made those bracelets and were able to give them away. And they were just, when I showed these pictures to the ladies at Claire's house, they were just dumbfounded. They just never thought that their contribution could make somebody that happy. And it does happen. This is a picture of the computer room. A lot of y'all probably remember, last year, we bought 3 of these laptop computers and donated them to the school. So that's just the reason I showed y'all that, so I would remember to this. So now we're going to hear a video of Sabrina and These are for brothers and sisters.
Your plans are better than mine. Your will is perfect for me. And when the world whispers no, I will keep trusting in you. You know every song, every lyric, every chord. I praise you, God. You have been faithful. You know my heart. You know my deepest thoughts. I trust you, God. You have been faithful. Your plans are better than mine. Your will is perfect for me. And when the world whispers no, I will keep trusting in you.
So that is a great thing, but Sabrina teaches, well, maybe I'll do it this way. Well, that one's just going to keep going, I guess. Anyway, there we go. Now it stopped. So I wanted to tell you all a little story about Sabrina. If y'all remember Honey in the Rock song, first time I heard that, Sabrina sung that last year, and it was a cool deal. Just to hear her sing that, I thought she wrote it. And I come home and find out that somebody really, really, really famous wrote it. But this is Michael right here and his brother Lawrence, and I didn't really ever meet the other two. But Michael was our interpreter for the week, and he was just a really fun guy, and he was Jackson's age, or was he younger than you? Yeah, he was your age. So it was fun to have two of the little ones with me and just to be able to play with them. But what is unbelievable about them and the spirit that they have, their dad got put in jail in Guatemala 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I hesitate to say this, but he hit somebody going down a one-way street. Guys, I can't tell you how many one-way streets I've been down in Guatemala. So that kind of gives me a little more appreciation of don't go down a one-way street. But anyway, he is very prominent in the gospel of Jesus Christ, of telling it. So, people in the city don't really like that. So they took care of him. So he's been in jail for 2.5 years. He has not had the first hearing or where you sentence or whatever it is. He's just in jail, and they're trying their best. But you wouldn't believe the attitude that the kids that they have that says, do y'all realize that my dad is reaching people that nobody ever would if he wasn't in jail today? And there's just not many people in the world that can say how awesome that they are in that endeavor. So it was really, really good just to meet them and be a part of their lives. This is another video of the children.
We trust in God. God is faithful. I am loved by God.
I know God is good. So these are 5 things that they know now. They are created for a purpose. They are loved by God. God is good. They can trust in the Lord.
So just to know what a lot of these children have been through at this age, and realizing how much this school is changing their lives and putting hope back in their lives is a great thing, and a good way for us to all right, now we're going to hear a video of the children. This is probably one of the best ones.
I'm so blessed, God is working in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, hallelujah, I'm so blessed, hallelujah, blessed. When I count the problems that I see, hope looks over gone. When I count the ways you're good to me, you got me count all day long. I'm so blessed, God is working in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, God is working in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. Whether it's your best day, your birthday, some Tuesday, your birthday, every day's a good day. Now let me tell you why. You got air in your lungs, you got blood in your body, you are a child of God. Come on and sing it, somebody. So my best day, I'm a child of God. On my worst day, I'm a child of God. Oh, every day is a good day. Because the reason why I'm so blessed, God is working in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, God is working in my chest. No, it doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, I'm so blessed. It's on my best day, I'm a child of God. On my worst day, I'm a child of God. Oh, every day is a good day. You know the reason why. It's on my best day, I'm a child of God. On my worst day, I'm a child of God. Oh, every day is a good day. You know the reason why. I'm so blessed, hallelujah, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed, hallelujah, I'm blessed. Doesn't matter about the rest. If I got you, Lord, hallelujah, I'm blessed.
Yeah. They are extraordinary little children. So after the program, they sent all the kids out just to meet and greet people. And maybe, let's see if I can get it this way. There, I met Heber, Heber. So I'm not really sure how he says that. But anyway, this little boy he had a picture of himself and all the information about him, how old he is, and it's up on my refrigerator at home, and every time we pass it, we just say a little prayer about him, for him. And this is the school where the video we just watched is right around the corner through that gate right there, and it is just a great place. So now we're going to hear a video of one of Don's. We're off to our dedication day for the houses. And this is one of Don's ladies.
Por esta ayuda que nos dieron.
The first thing is I'm thankful with God because you gave us this house.
Se los agradecemos mucho, nunca no nos esperábamos esto, pero gracias, se los agradezco. Y toda la ayuda se lo viene a Dios, cada uno les va a bendecir.
We never expect for this, but God did this, so I'm so thankful. Thank you so much.
Que Dios les guíe en cada uno de ustedes en sus caminos.
I hope God gives you, all of you, in every step you cannot do.
Que Dios les bendiga a cada uno de sus familias.
And God bless your family.
Y solamente gracias.
So it is exciting just to be a part of their lives and hear God move in their lives. And this is a picture of how they decorate their homes for dedication day. This is just another one where all of us, that's Norwanda. I don't think I had an individual in her. But, you know, with dedication days, there's always piñata day, so we always buy piñatas and fill them up with candy and let the children go at it, and it just, just things that they don't get from day to day to day. So it's exciting just to see that she's carrying her candy in one of the legs of Batman. We always, because they're very resourceful people in their thing. So this picture is one of Don's greatest creations, he tells me. He said, so this device right here is a Guatemalan washing machine. And she wanted it under her porch. Of course, that thing right there is solid concrete, and you can't move it. He said, well, we'll just build the house around it. So, that's my brother in a nutshell. How he moves in this. This is another lady that's receiving some more of the bracelet that Claire's house made. This is the inside of one of the more extravagant houses, how they've decorated. And it was really, this is a great idea, Chrissy. These little things, they have balloons in them, and they hold them open. It's just cool. I said, man, that's a Chrissy original right there that would do it. So Connie, Don and Connie almost become parents again, because I thought she was going to bring this one home with her. She wouldn't have let them down. And a lot of times the Guatemalans will give us gifts, and this is one of the gifts that the lady gave her, which, this is a very, very, very extravagant gift for them to give for this lady, which we gave it to the church where they can have a centerpiece like we do. And they were excited. So this little boy, we were fixing to leave, and all the kids were coming up to eat. And Jackson saw something on his backpack. Guess what was on his backpack? Spider-Man. And, and Jackson just said, hey, look, Spider-Man. And immediately he turned, wasn't his name Andreas or something like that? But he came over and talked to us. Guess what questions he asked us? The big three. What's your name? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite sport? So these are very, very good things that we do. One of the highlights of my trip is that I get to go to Pastor Max's church, and often he lets me speak there, and I was able to speak there. I gave him one of the purple shirts that Jesus is risen. He was very excited about that. So that's always a fun thing for me. And that kind of concludes our Guatemalan trip. But then, and then one of the other big things is we play bingo at Claire's house and be able to feed them. And, and it's just a matter of sitting down and loving on them, because love what? Has no borders. Kurt is always very diligent. Twice a year we have super bingo where we buy gifts. Not only do we buy gifts, we buy stuff that they need, like toiletries and socks and shoes and stuff like that is a great thing. This is Robin's, one of our prize winners. One great event we just had at our church, this was their graduation, and each one of these ladies has completed over 20 hours of community stuff like Celebrate Recovery and My Journey. So this is a great, great accomplishment of them. So today I want to bring you just a real short message for you about, it's in the first chapter of Romans is where I want to go to you. So, we're going to take this as a letter, not a letter today from Paul, but this is a letter from Tim from you. Of what it means in our life. And, when I read this first verse, I was just overtaken. Not that it was a letter from Paul and I transferred it to Tim, but the next thing there is that I'm a slave of Jesus Christ. So let's all say that together. I'm a slave of Jesus Christ. So let that sink in just for a second of how that involves in your life. Did I die? I hope not. May have. But I can go without it. So in that, I lost signal, Aaron. But I have other resources. So in that verse, I just thought about the slave of Jesus Christ and how I'm chosen to be one of his own. So what does it mean to be a slave? Well, my first thought was that I'm owned, that somebody bought me with a price. And, the price that Jesus gave was so great that I don't know anybody that would do that, even for your own children. I love Jackson to death, but I don't know if I'm going to die for him, but I probably would. And, but it is, and the other reflection of being owned is, other than own is, I'm a reflection of my owner. Why do you think the slaves way back when, they got punished so bad? Because they did things that the owner didn't like, and they are a reflection, just as we are a reflection of Jesus Christ. One thing being a slave is that I have to be obedient. I don't get a choice, but with Jesus, he gives us a choice because he's a good God, and he's obedient. He wants us to be obedient to him. The fourth thing that I thought about this verse is, or about that statement, is that we have to be faithful, that I have to have an allegiance to him. We back in the program? Oh. Can I do that? Go. Okay. I can live without that, though. Oh, there we are. Thank you. I like it. It's always good to have good technical people. So in the next thing, it says that I'm chosen by God to be an apostle. So how many of y'all consider yourselves to be an apostle? Raise your hand. What happened to the rest of y'all? Tara's not sure. she's about, but all of apostle is, it says in the dictionary, one that is sent. So if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, you are sent out to share the good news of Jesus Christ, and that's what it is, how awesome it is just to be an apostle and to be sent out to preach the good news. And it's a special right, an advantage, an immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. So what does it mean to be chosen to you, that God chose me and he bought me with a price? That it is, when you think about it, if you don't think about nothing else out of this whole message today, think about that you are a slave of Jesus Christ. In verse 2 it said that God promised this good news long ago through his prophets in the Holy Scriptures. In verse 3, it says the good news is about his son in the earthly life. He was born into King David's family line, and he's shown to be the Son of God when he was raised from the dead by the power of the Holy Spirit. He is Jesus Christ, our Lord. And through Jesus Christ, he has given us the privilege and authority as apostles to tell Gentiles everywhere what God has done for them, so that they will believe and obey him, bringing glory to his name. So you look at those two words, that is privilege, and that I'm privileged and I have authority. So what is that word? What is the first thing that I thought about when I was privileged? Well, I was privileged to be the son of John and Elizabeth Vigas. That was just something that God just gave me because, I had the greatest parents in the world that raised me in the way that I am today. And we have that authority to what? To claim Jesus in anywhere that I go. We have that freedom that is in us. So in verse 6 it says, and you are included. We could stop there and I could stay there a little while, but I'm trying to get done. So among those Gentiles, you have been called to belong to Jesus Christ. So you are included in all this. It was quite some times before the Gentiles were included in anything, because Jesus told us to go preach this to the Jews. So in verse 7, which meant a lot to me, it says, I'm writing to all of you in Rome who are loved by God and are called to be his own holy people. May God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ give you peace in all that we do. So what is our first call as a Christian? We are to be loved by God. So what does it mean that to be loved by God? Even more, it's not only to be loved by God, it's to love God back. And it's so easy to be loved God, but to love God back requires some effort, doesn't it? Because everything that we do shines in everything that we are. So my thought was that I don't have to only get that thought in my head, that I've got to get that thought in my heart somewhere, because the heart is what? Deceptive above all things. So I've got to let that rule in my heart. So as I was studying this, and since I've got the latest, greatest, whatever Bible app in the world, I got all these little notes in there, and I pulled one of them up, and it was just dumbfounding that I don't know how long ago I wrote it, but it was quite some time ago. It says, when I'm aware of God's constant love for me, number one, I feel accepted rather than ashamed. So we should never be ashamed of the gospel of Christ or who he's made you to be. The one that matters has already approved me. I don't need anybody else's approval. I don't need to do anything for anybody else. Number two, it says, I am bold in bringing my needs before God, because he is my what? He is my dad. He is my Abba Father, and I pursue a close relationship with him. In saying those two words, that he is my Father and I should pursue a close relationship, I should act like it, shouldn't I? Sometimes we just don't act like God is our Father, but we should act like it. So that one always meant big time for me. Number three, it says, I have peace in pain that I don't understand. Can we all relate to things I don't understand? And a lot of things we don't understand bring pain in our lives and how we moved in our lives. So God has all the resources he needs and is more than happy to share them with me. So that is the peace. And this one's going to shock all of y'all, that I actually wrote these words. I gained courage to take a risk. How long ago I wrote this, I don't know, but how much has that made the man that God has made me to be? Because I have courage to take a risk. I didn't have that before I had God in my life, because God believes in me, and he wants me to live a full life. He wants that in my life more than anything. And that leads me to number 5, that I worship instead of worry. Again, all I need is to have a heart that loves God and all that do. So as I love God and put him first in my life, I got to move on to these last couple of verses. It says, let me first say thank you through Jesus Christ for all of you. Without y'all, my job is insignificant, because, what am I here for? I'm here to provide opportunity, and it talks about that just a little bit later. Because of your faith in him, who is being talked about, where? All over the world. I have been blessed to be able to be over 3 or 4 continents to share the Jesus Christ where y'all have sent me. In verse 9 it says, God knows how often I pray for you. And that is no storytelling that I do right there. I pray for y'all day and night, and I bring you and your needs to prayer, and whom I serve with all my heart by spreading the good news about this Son. So that is a true statement, you know, and it's not only the people that are in dire need, and there are several people in our church right now that need God's touch in their lives, and I do pray for those and let God move in their life. So one of the things I always pray is for the opportunity, you know, so, you know, that's sometimes when you pray for opportunity, you got to also look for opportunity. You got to be willing to take a risk in your lives that God willing, G Daddy statement, to come at last to see you, you know. So that's a Paul statement. That's not mine, because I get to see you all the time. In verse 11, it says, "For I long to visit you so I can bring you some spiritual gifts that will help you grow strong in the Lord." You know, and I just pray more than anything that a little bit of the testimonies from Guatemala and all that does encourage you to grow in your Christian walk. Even more, I hope it encourages you to want to go with me to Guatemala. You know, and one of the things, just like Tara Tatum, what's the first thing you got to do, Tara? Get your passport. You know, let's get our passport, because that's the hardest thing to it. The rest of it is insignificant. But I can't control the government and their passport wars, because it does take sometimes 3 months. In the last verse, it says, "When I get together, I want to encourage you in your faith." You know, so much, you know, one of the spiritual gifts is encouragement, and I thought for a long time that was my spiritual gift. And it's about number 4 on the list. So it is not what I'm really good at, that God has blessed me at. It is, but what it is something that I want to do. I want to encourage you in your faith. But even more, the second part of the back verse is, I want to be encouraged by yours. You know, and when you step out and do something that God wants you to do, I go, man, why can't I do that? Or I want to go join them and be them. So I want to be encouraged by what God is doing in your life and my life, and as we partner together as Christians. So as our band come up, we're going to sing one of my all, you know, and I say this a lot, my favorite songs, but truly this is one of my favorite songs. My brother Don taught me about this song some time ago. And one thing, while they're getting ready, I want you to just a little shout out for the adult retreat. It is the next thing on our calendar. It is November the 3rd through the 5th. Anyway, it's first weekend in November. I don't ever know the dates hardly. They go, well, everybody will say, what are the dates? It's first weekend in November. It's a Friday to Sunday deal. I've caught a little grief about my last theme of our trip, so I think we're going to change it a little bit. But I think we're going to change it. I'll just share it with all of it. It says, "Is life meaningless?" is what I think I'm going to change it to. So it could go either way, what it was. So, but you know, and we've got to figure out, is your life really meaningless? And we want it to have meaning. And this year will be just a great year. Just like last year, we went a little bit overboard because it was our 15th anniversary. But, you know, we're still looking what God is having in our life. We start planning for this trip about 3 months in advance, and just love it. But this is one of my all-time favorite songs. And, you know, when you talk about what's the name of the last song? Not the name, but what is it? The Invitation. There you go. So, you know, a lot of people think they're just slow songs that make you think, you know, but I'm not a slow song make you think. I'm a fast song make you think kind of guy. So share with us.